I always feel that music embraces technology faster. What was intense was Saaho for me. We don't expect a song from Hans Zimmer or John Williams,
Yeah, correct.
but them coming into the industry made that industry better. Devotional industry, or the spiritual industry, has always looked like it's for old people.
Hi, sir. Welcome to Film Companions Out.
Yeah, hi, hi, Vishal.
How's the lockdown going, sir? A couple of months in, have you finally made peace with it?
Yeah, no, I've always been in peace, and it's going really good in sense, very productive. Of course, you have to. I quickly kind of adapted and started utilizing the time, and it has been. I mean, as you can see, so first it was Arivu Manboom, and now spiritual
Yeah.
things, and a lot of things are ready for orchestral series also. So it's going on.
Can we say that among the number of people that work behind the scenes on a film set, can we say that the editors and the film composers and the music composers are the least affected?
I don't know about others, but
Yeah.
I can't, I mean, talk for them. But for me, yeah,
Yeah.
editors, because whoever editors I spoke, they have been busy, and I've been doing a lot of music work. So
Tell me a little about your change in routines. Earlier compared to earlier, are you getting? Do you have more time to work on stuff? Of course, things like the directors coming directly to narrate a story to you, all that has stopped. So when you look at it both ways, how can you generally tell me the difference between the lockdown period and before?
actually, my routine has been the same. So it's like, I mean, starting my day, yeah, by as early as possible, and then I'll be done by 10:30 max. But one thing, one major difference was I was none of the film works happened. So none of the directors or producers called me, or all those things. So other than that, I used this time for a lot of learning, and books, whatever books I had. And this is my I broke my record. I think within 1 month I finished 6 books, and and
All music books, or like all just
zero music.
all kinds of books. Zero music.
Zero
Okay.
music. And I always wanted to learn a lot about business. So I've been because I'm venturing into something new. Within 1 month maybe we'll be talking again regarding my
Okay.
venture. So I was doing, and that work was really keeping me busy, and all the financials and even the designing part and everything. And also apart from it, whatever possible, outside than film music, I was kind of doing it, because Arivu Manbum was going on really
Yeah.
good, and now this spiritual series. And I have almost completed, I was doing a Ghibrans orchestra series, so that was also going on good. And it's been, yeah, it's been going good actually.
So tell me a little bit about the timing for a spiritual series that you've just started. Would this have happened if not for the lockdown? Was this something that was always a part of the plan, or did you feel there is a special need for it right now, given the time and the state of mind?
No, it was actually, we started. It was, I mean, Think Music and myself. I mean, we go back from the time of my
Of
Vagisudwa
course, yeah.
times. So, and I always, whenever I have an interview, or when someone talks about how music's gonna change, or evolve, I always told that film music, music is gonna grow, beyond film music. And with the help of streaming industry and whatever happening right now, this is the best time. you know and so I was like talking with them, and there is one kind of evolution happening through YouTube and everything. The pop music is growing in a good way. The spiritual music, because initially, before 10-20 years maximum, even all the mainstream music composers like MSV sir, Ilayaraja sir, they've been doing mainstream spiritual songs, but that genre is like totally gone now.
Hmm.
Maybe because of the commercial value is very less, I don't know. But even very some great numbers which came from Ramansa is always uh, it's been a part of some film project. I was like, okay, what if, I mean, so even the spiritual part should move on, and we need to become a better person, and realize what we are inside, and we definitely need it right now. So that's how this happened. Yeah.
So also like how you were describing, even 10, 15 years back, it is almost like another parallel industry, right? If you keep the film music and the rare one or two albums a year aside, the only way the cassette and CD industry used to survive was on devotional music, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think that kind of slowly subsided? Or I mean, I'm sure there are people still listening to devotional music, but has that completely changed to YouTube or something?
No, it's a change in perception. That's what I feel. Because yeah, as you said, because I've played when I was a keyboard player. I used to be very busy playing for devotional songs. In one day we have recorded 12 songs, and that goes on. Like, I'll be moving on to studio, and Ayyappan season is my busiest season for me as a player.
Yeah.
And yeah, as you said, I mean, for a small time of period, I've survived on devotional um, industry. But then the music exploded on electronic, and when the moment music came from CDs to MP3s, and MP3s to streaming industry, and with the help of people, artists started releasing their own, via YouTube and everything, so they don't have to depend on
A
audio label.
middleman.
Yeah, middleman, audio label.
Yeah.
And devotional industry, or the spiritual industry, has always looked like it's for old people. So, and that is like a retirement industry. So when I
Yeah.
I think when the fresh blood of people came in, they thought, okay, that's not for me, because let me establish in the pop industry or the film music industry, and then let me go there. I mean, that's why I think in the middle of last 20 years, it didn't evolve. So someone has to break this. Someone has to tell that this is also for goodness, or for human being, and this is also cool. So that's we have hope in it, but we are not also expecting mm, this to people to take up this on, go on a full fledged. But we are planning to. We want to keep this rolling. This six song is not going to end here. We are going to continue.
At least when we talk about the production of these songs compared to earlier, now is the effort to produce them just as well as the film songs are being produced, or do you have to still kind of maintain a certain level of musicality so that people remember the old songs even when they listen to the new updated ones?
No, we didn't have a target audience actually, but
Hmm.
if you can call, then our target audience is everyone. But
Hmm.
the streaming industry and all the YouTube industry people, they are used to a kind of recording quality, or the production quality. So we don't want to revisit, because before 20 years, the spiritual devotional songs, they had a set of sounds. Even when I was a keyboard player, when I choose sounds, when I choose a different synth sound or whatever it is, my music director will say, no, no, okay, in Tamil it's இது devotional ஆகாது, இது நீ தனியா பண்ணும்போது வச்சுக்கோ. So he will stop us. But now, since I am, part of, I'm the whatever on the
Decision maker.
decision maker on the boss level. So we are not limiting ourselves, but at the same time, we want to bring the production quality, a good quality. And if you're listening to a film song, we don't want this to look down upon. We want it to either match, or even looked up.
So, among the songs that you've chosen to work on, which in your opinion was the toughest, at least in terms of giving it your own vision to it?
Mm,
Was there any one in particular?
yeah, one was Arunagirinada's Muttai Tarupati Tirunagari.
Ah,
Yeah, that was
okay. Sure.
because when I was a child, I sung that song in competitions. So Muttai it's
Okay.
like you can easily win any competition if you sing that. That's the secret of that song. So that was, and whenever I heard the song, there is always the tum 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 tum. There is a rhythmic quality which always sounded symphonic to me. So
Hmm.
that was on arranging style, that was a bit tougher for me, and we recorded Budapest Philharmonic Orchestra for it. It's a full-length symphony orchestra.
Hmm.
They performed. That was a bit tough on a scoring side. But Harivarasanam I was a bit scared to touch it. I was born by the name Vijay, and I've gone to Sabarimala also. So
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
that song is like you know that is that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And replace, not replacing, no one can replace, but we are so
Hmm.
used to yes the song, I mean voice.
Hmm.
The moment you hear it, it his voice is what you hear, even in your heart. That was a bit tough. So then music director Sharat sir, so I've always
Hmm.
loved his voice and felt that he has that bass thing, and when someone sings, you it should make you listen, and his
Hmm.
voice has it, and he sang it for us. So that I feel safe now, on that side.
Apart from that, you mentioned that you're coordinating with the Budapest Philharmonic for this. Was this something that happened before the lockdown or during the lockdown?
No, no, that was, this project started last year around,
Okay,
much before, like August, September,
okay,
or something on those lines. But we've been working, and it was
okay.
on halt because I was very busy, and Think Music was,
Huh.
Saaho was happening for me. I kept, so it's
Hmm.
been, it's always been like I record something, then it goes to my hard disk, and it sleeps. So it was like that. But as soon as the lockdown started, because we were waiting for the right moment also,
Hmm.
when all the songs are ready and everything. But when the lockdown started, I felt, and I was talking to Think Music Santosh, and what people needed really was a hope and a belief system,
Hmm.
and I don't know whether because of temples and all the pilgrimage, everything was locked, but I felt people need spirituality, like
Hmm.
exploring themselves. So I told him this is the right time. People will need this, and he was like, "Okay, can you work on?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm game." So then I took all the files, and some were arranged and some were not finished. So, and that's how we did it.
We've discussed this before, but I know everybody knows that you're a very spiritual person. When you're working on something spiritual, does it work in such a way that you're able to maintain that same spiritual state of mind throughout the working process, or does parts of it become very technical work apart from just it being keeping that spiritual state of mind?
No, I don't, because it's not like, okay, I'm in a state and I'm getting into another mode.
Hmm.
I'm going to a, like special mode and coming back to mode. I strongly feel it's a way of life. Off late, I'm talking a lot about Surya Dharma, all to all the people, my people around. But yeah, so when you live a life following, Surya Dharma, then it's that is not nothing like you are spiritual, you are, because I still, I mean, um, there is not a definition that a person is spiritual, just
Hmm.
have a disciplined life, mm, and so, and live according to Sri Dharma, then it's, so for me it's a normal work. And in between I was doing, there was one song, a very intense, emotional, sad song in Radhasingam. I was working on that also. So my mode is always the same, but especially when working on these songs, it has some magic, the words and everything,
Hmm.
because they go beyond time, like and they've stood, they've literally fought time, and so
Hmm.
did do something to you, and that helped me also to be very positive, very vibrant in this time.
Let me try to ask you that question in a very different way. So let's say you're scoring. Let's
Oh,
say you're
I didn't
working.
I didn't understand the
You
question.
have to. No, no, no. So okay, let's say the next coming Friday is the release of Ratchasan. Okay, and you have 1 week to work on the score of Ratchasan, and it's this very gory, difficult to sit through, scary film, right? So when you have to kind of go through that process of 1 week, immersing yourself in that kind of music, that kind of visuals, and I'm sure I've heard that at least in that last stretch is such that you have to work more than 15 hours a day. So when you have to kind of go through that phase, what happens to you? What happens to your mind at that point of time
um
in a film like Ratchasan?
No, actually, Rakshan was very. I mean, I, of course, if you, the more you get into the character, you become a psycho. So, so it happened to me, also. But
Huh.
actually, that was also kind of okay, but what was intense was Saaho for me, when
Okay. Huh.
the amount of work and the kind of sound you want to produce in your mind. And
Hmm.
when the time is very short, that's
Hmm.
when everything goes. Because now, I mean, whatever I'm talking, I'm like, oh, I'm calm, like I'm enjoying my inner self. Everything goes for a toss. So other time it's like I'm a madman hitting every side whatever possible. So there is nothing like I've always been calm or I've been always in my state. I also become crazy. So and last
Huh.
1 month of Saaho was my life. I cannot forget my life.
Okay. So there's nothing that can be done about that, right? Because eventually, at some point of time, the films come to you at the last minute.
Yeah, yeah, you cannot. I know that even though I think I'm reading a lot and I'm evolving
Yes,
as a
yeah.
person. I will become a crazy person again when some projects come. So
The last 10 years, what we've been hearing is, especially in Bombay, especially in Hindi music, what we've come to see is, you'll take an album, and you'll see three or four composers composing each song, one song each, and then together it'll become an album. Now, as an extension of that, obviously this used to happen even before. I think what's happening now is, there are these guys who are composing individual songs, and there is another guy who's composing the background music. To some extent, a lot of that is going to happen. I mean, a lot of that has been happening in the south as well, where the songs will be one person, background score is another person. Do you see that separation kind of widening in the future? And in your case, there are films where people love the songs in the movie, and they also love the background score. So do you think the separation is going to become wider in the future?
no, personally, I wanted it to happen. Even
Oh, okay.
around Vatikuchi time, I was telling in an interview, I mentioned that the songs and film background score should get separated because uh,
Hmm.
it is like it is like exactly like writers becoming directors. Only few directors can literally write because writing is another art. But we have
Hmm.
at one point of even in Tamil industry faced that problem. Only writers can direct. If they can narrate a good story, they are getting films. But direction is a separate
Yes.
art, you know. So it is same like that. So background score is a separate art. So and
Hmm.
I studied background score in Singapore. So I wanted this to happen, and this is happening, and I'll do as much as possible because people are asking me for only for background score, and I will be doing it because only then that industry will become. I mean, strengthen. We don't ask Hans Zimmer. We don't expect Hans Zimmer. I mean, a song from Hans Zimmer or John Williams because
Yeah, correct.
but them coming into the industry made that industry better. So
Hmm.
that will happen. That will surely happen.
So, but in our case, at least among the Indian musicians, don't you do it's still in that phase where each person has to do both, right? Predominantly do both. So, at least in your case, when you're trying to think about a film or working on a film, do you have to kind of make sure you do work in terms of both, as the individual songs and the background score for the film?
No,
Is it something? Is it double the work?
no, it is not double the work because we are tuned to it. I also feel that we are in an era like whatever the composers which we are right now, right? So I think this will be.
Hmm.
I mean, I predict that we will be the last of that set of who can
Okay,
who will
do
be doing
both.
do both. Yeah.
So the future will be song specialists and background score specialists.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So at least in that case, right now when you're working on films, like for instance Saaho, where the songs are by somebody else and where you scored the background score, you still have the freedom to, let's say, take parts of that song to kind of give it another kind of in emotion in the film, which you have the freedom to do when it's your own songs, right? Like you can take a really upbeat songs and then break it down and take that same tune and kind of use it in an emotional way in the film. But are you not about permission per se, but is it something that you want to do, or is it something that you do in your films?
No, it's a personal choice. I mean, personal choice, and
Huh.
if you are you okay with it, that's the because it's been always like when a background film composer comes in, there is always in especially in the Indian film industry, there's been a norm like they don't touch the songs, and it's
Songs.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's a kind of, yeah, it's a persona and also a bit of ego.
Marking my territory kind of a
Yes,
thing, I feel.
yes. So if the whole film is mine, um, I don't
Hmm.
see, I don't have the difference. Even if it is only the background score, I see it as my film. And if
Hmm.
the film needed uh, for me to use someone else's theme, because it's very clear that I'm the background score composer and I should
Hmm.
be the director's voice, and
Hmm.
I don't have any problem in using the songs if the film really needed, so. And I'm clear about my job description. When I confuse with, if my job description with the song composer job, then there is a, but I don't, because I work for the film and not even for the director or not even for the producer. And that's how I treat my film. I fight with them, even though when Saho happened, it was one of the, I mean, when it was happening, there was a uh, most anticipated, I mean, expected film in
Of course.
and I literally, even I was the one who came into the project last. But I talk with
Okay.
the director. Still, we go ahead. I say no, this cannot happen. That's film. That's because, but he's also happy that I talk for the film and not for me, and
Hmm.
even not to convince him. So in a way,
Hmm.
I don't have the thing. But as time goes, when an industry, at least when composers emerge only for background score, I think they will also give this whatever the film needs.
Okay, let me ask you something else then. Do you see a future where there are multiple composers working on the background score of one film itself?
That I don't.
Can that happen?
That if in case, no, that can happen in case if both of them are working together. Because that also happens in Hollywood again. Hans Zimmer frequently
Collaborates, yeah.
collaborates with Blake or Junkie XL. So when both
Hmm.
of them trying to create one sound, when they are working
Hmm.
towards one sound, then there is possibilities, because that happens when, um, 'cause, for example, in when he was working with Sherlock Holmes in the film Sherlock Holmes,
Hmm.
he collaborated with Balkan orchestra and
Yeah,
musicians. So because he's not an expert of that genre,
that sound. Yeah,
that
yeah,
sound,
yeah.
so he brings them in. But ultimately, they he is the one who decides what the sound the film needs. So and
Hmm.
same thing for even initial Batman films, there were two composers, and even for all the collaborations with Junkie XL and also. So Junkie XL is in really good in electronic music. So he takes his
Hmm.
expertise and they try to create one sound. But I believe in one sound. But if multiple composers try to create one sound, then it shouldn't be a problem actually.
Again, sir, do you think, like we're discussing this about other different fields in within cinema, but do you think because of the new people, everybody's figured out a way to work within these limitations, right? Do you think that's going to be the future? It's going to change the way people look at music production also in the future. Do you think that? Do you think, for instance, in your case, you have to figure out a way to kind of assemble an orchestra or kind of coordinate with an orchestra, even though everybody's sitting in their homes through a Zoom call? Do you think there's a future like that?
This perfectly, because always in all the industries, right, editing or like cinematography, or I personally feel uh, many might differ, but the thing is, I always feel that music embraces technology faster, because when iPad came, the first thing happens is, they try to bring in GarageBand into iPad. They create piano, they create guitar sounds. So the first thing, whenever technology emerges, music immediately goes into it.
It's already there.
It's
Yeah.
already there. And this online recording thing has started way before this corona. I mean,
Hmm.
in my first film, Vagai Sudava, um, I mean, only one or two films I've actually gone to the orchestras, but off late, like past 3 4 years, I've never left my studio. All the recordings happen online, and a lot of my collaborations happen through. And even now, even before corona, I mean, a lot of composers, or players and arrangers, they are in different part of, even in India. Initially, for every voice recording. If I'm recording a Bombay singer, I used to go to Mumbai. So now, I mean, last 2 3 years, I'm not. I've gone, not gone. So the music industry was already on online. So now the
Yeah.
world has, taken over it, and now it is like, uh, this is our domain. So we have been doing this for a long time. So so we'll continue doing this. So for even that's the reason, even in this corona, I was working. And many players in the spiritual series. A lot of players are abroad also, and even Hyderabad players, they performed, and it all happened online.
Let's come back to movies. So, what are the like? So, at what stage has working on the movies been during the last couple of months? Has it been constant? Are people sending you like parts of the film to kind of score separately, or has it kind of taken a break?
No, till Arivum Anbum's release, I kind of had a break. The moment it got released, all my producers,
Oh,
directors,
people know
I
that.
came to know that I can produce
He's
something.
working.
Yeah, he's working, and I can able to pull this sound. So I mean, on the
Yeah.
next 2 3 days, actually, I'm doing eight films right now, and all the directors called and were like, okay, now work start padilama. I was like, oh shit, I did something bad. So, and
Yeah.
I was able to complete almost three films background scores, because
Huh.
I mean, this is my world, and we were
Hmm.
able to pull it off.
So has there been a recording, or has there been a jamming session, or has there been a narration session that's happened completely over the phone? We are listening to situations and okaying a tune for the director completely through Zoom or something.
I remember one boom happened always. I mean, it's
Of course, yeah,
yeah, but other than
yeah,
that,
no other
no,
go.
no. Even the directors, yeah, a lot of I heard three scripts over on a Zoom call,
Okay,
and
yeah,
I'm committing two of it, and and
okay, okay, yeah.
and background scores are like, yeah, I was yeah, actually we'll send the videos, and they saw, uh, it's actually, I didn't see any difference. It's like normal, which was online.
Hmm. Okay, so it's not affecting or changing the nature of your job
No,
by any. Yeah, okay, sir. Excellent, sir. Thank you so much for talking with
thank
Film
you,
Companion, sir.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir.